Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kings of the North, day number 2. Already fumbling because we've had so many exciting games that I feel like we've been here for a while.
Yeah, so have I. Just came back from an exhausting time trip through Jeopardy, where I took a slight lead.
Slight lead.
HuK definitely. I bribed the Troy Pavlik to ensure that his J key would not work.
He does take bribes.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
As demonstrated by the fact that he's not afraid to make things completely biased for Canadians and,
Yeah.
Zerg players and, Protoss questions. I'm just saying.
I loved Mr. Dress Up growing up. Just gotta say,
Mr. Dress Up.
Yeah, with his tickle trunk. That's a lot creepier when I
like Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head. I mean, we had Mr. Dress Up, but that was a guy.
All right, Canada's gonna do its thing.
Yeah,
but ladies and gentlemen, we are hopping into our next series.
We couldn't afford plastic.
No, we couldn't.
So we needed people.
Yeah,
they're cheaper in Canada.
10 years behind.
The exchange rate, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But HuK versus puCK is going to be our next series, and we do have the maps already picked out. Ruins of Saros, Dust Towers, and Orbital Shipyard for this PvP.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. This is, I think we were talking about, this is probably a big rivalry for the players at this tournament.
Yeah, it definitely is. puCK and HuK both really vying for that. Well, with Neeb, it's Neeb's probably considered the best Protoss in NA right now. But I'd say puCK and HuK are
close
neck
behind,
and neck for second, and this is kind of can maybe give one of those players a bit of an edge, gives them the recent map victory. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see who will take the edge here.
Absolutely, and I would also say that just in terms of how they've been performing, if I have to give a slight edge to anyone, it would probably be HuK. He's obviously feeling a little bit more comfortable and everything. He is, of course, also getting slightly better results at this LAN event. And of course, PvP has always been one of those matchups that he always felt very comfortable in.
Yeah. We'll take a look at the maps. It's Ruins of Saras, Dusk Towers, and Orbital Shipyard. Ruins is probably the most.
It's a PvP, so it's a mirror matchup. Of course, it's going to be balanced in a sense, but in terms of playstyle, I will say puCK sort of does his own thing, whereas HuK, I think, will be more willing to play toward the maps and stuff. So, for example, Ruins of Saros, there's some really cool Blink Stalker play you can do, but puCK really likes his Robo play. He obviously will sometimes go toward the Blink Stalker and, go to, like, Blink Stalker Disruptor and everything, but...
Yeah, and there's something very interesting about PvP if you spawn close air positions, which is what we've spawned as.
And we are going to be starting up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, on top of the orange Protoss player from Evil Geniuses. Give it up for HuK.
Already going with a nice pylon position. I'll get back to that in a moment. But first, I'm going to introduce our player in the bottom left position. No, currently teamless. It is puCK. So right away, if we can go back to HuK space, let's take a look at that pylon placement. That is actually in the perfect position for this map to deal with oracles. You might think, oh, but it blocks the gas. What it actually does is it curves them around the pylon, does not interrupt the mineral income, but because of how the efficiency of the gas works, you don't actually lose any mining time.
Yeah, your third worker doesn't actually mine as efficiently as 2 workers.
Yes, so that position is actually just as good as if you had the pylon anywhere else, but it provides the most coverage you can from Oracle harassment because of that pylon overcharge.
Yeah.
We can see puCK not actually doing that himself, but puCK is scouting the correct position first, whereas HuK is going to be scouting close by ground, so that's a bit of an advantage. We do see them also both opening up double gate. Now, this is something that you always have to do on Ruins of Saras because of the potential of this these close by air positions. If you open up gate nexus and your opponent opens up 2 gate, they can send their mothership core vertical and just do a pylon rush and end the game.
It is a really, really scary prospect. And even if you don't go for some kind of big pylon rush, sending your mothership core across the map and just doing harassment to your opponent's mineral line while you get a scout out, and actually foregoing scouting is something that we sometimes see out of players. But of course, both of these players are sending out those early scouts, so they are both going to have the potential to see what their opponent is up to.
Yes, we do see some nice worker harass coming out from puCK on HuK, but HuK also dealing with that well himself. We do see the chrono boost. Oh, nice. And we see the actual stealing of the minerals.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the stats between these 2 players.
Yeah, you know, they do have a nice history. As you can see, a lot of games. And of course, HuK does edge out a small little victory. 60% win rate, 28 wins, 19 losses.
I think a lot of that is coming from his experience. And we do see actually some variance right away and kind of an indication of the differences of their styles. We see HuK going for double Adept and puCK going for double Stalker. That double Stalker is going to be a lot more defensive of a play. It's going to deal with oracles better. It's going to shove away the Mothership core. Whereas the double Adept is something you go for when you want to do a bit of damage. We actually see the Mothership core from, I believe that was puCK picking off.
Yeah.
No, that was HuK picking off puCK's probe.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
As puCK has lost a single probe, but
Yes.
here we have the Adepts moving on in, going to try and put on a little bit of harassment. Mothership Core is there and ready to Photon Overcharge, and he has a pretty good coverage. He can cover all of his mineral line. He can really deal with these Adepts pretty well.
Yes, and we do see puCK actually going very aggressive. He's going to be building a Warp Prism and 2 more gateways. So this is actually, this could be a 4-gate all-in. Chronoing that Cyber Core. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see this aggression. HuK only on 2 gateways, adding on a 3rd gateway right there. Getting Blink, but Blink is not going to be done for the first stage of his attack. Oh, actually, getting in there. Going to pick off 2 probes. Nice body block from puCK, only getting those 2 probes. And HuK, I don't believe he saw those additional gateways. Where did those gateways get built?
I mean, he did.
Oh, he did.
Them,
It just,
yeah.
it's just the layout of the base. It just kind of looks weird.
Yeah. But there is quite a bit of aggression that's going to be setting up potentially, I think, for puCK as...
Oh, this is cool. He's going to elevate her into the main with that Warp Prism.
Yeah, this is the thing about this map. This is what I was talking about. It's a great map for this kind of Blink Stalker play just because you can just jump up into the main base. But puCK is saying, yeah, I don't actually need Blink to do it.
I have a Warp Prism. That's Blink.
And it's sort of funny because we actually have HuK doing a similar thing, but he's going for Blink rather than the Warp Prism.
I don't know if HuK's going to be able to deal with this. His army is so far out of position. Oh, we do see the Sentry. He might be able to force field out the units.
There's the Warp Prism, but the Pylon's going to go down. Photon
Overcharge
going down.
It's so late.
Oh, but he even getting a couple shots off is going to be important. He needs to make sure he protects that Pylon. That Pylon is actually powering at least 2 of the Warp Gates, maybe even 3 or 4
Blink
of
is
them.
about to finish, but it's not done yet. Oh, targeting down that Pylon. Nice cancel from HuK.
Yeah.
Oh, the force field traps 3 of the Stalkers.
Yeah, before Blink finishes up. Blink finishes up
picking
in the
up
last
the
second.
Sentry.
This is exactly what puCK does. He says, I don't need Blink because my Warp Prism is my Blink. He's going to do some fantastic micro with that Warp Prism, and he's really putting on the pressure. HuK is in a lot of trouble over here. He may even want to consider making it immortal or something from that robotic facility, if he can even afford it.
Oh, look at that Blink micro from HuK, but the counter Warp Prism Blink micro. It's got that 6 range. It's so good against what HuK is doing.
You know, I couldn't have asked for a more perfect opening from these 2 players where they both play sort of very similar mic-oriented styles, but they are subtly different and they kind of have their own little twist on them. And puCK is doing a great job with this, continuing to blink back his Stalkers with the Warp Prism. HuK is continuing to do the same, but he blinks forward aggressively, maybe feeling like he can maybe clean this up. He's pulling the probes. He knows he has to take this. He knows he has to defend over here if he wants to have any chance. Oh, and you know, he's not actually losing that many workers. He's losing quite a few now.
But this game, there's just no way he can come back. He's down half the supply. He has no army left over.
He's not even mining it. He can't actually warp in any more units because he doesn't have any resources for it. And I think this is going to be it. HuK, he may hold off for a little bit, but puCK has taken such a ridiculous lead now.
Yeah, but that was actually, I'm very surprised. That was a nice last-second hold from HuK. You know, he is down a lot of workers. He's down 9 workers. I don't think he can match the production of puCK, but maybe, just maybe, if he can squeeze out an immortal, he might be able to do it.
You know, it's going to be so difficult to make something like that work because you have to remember, even puCK has his own robotic facility if he really wants to get out an immortal or something. And I love this, continuing that Warp Prism Blink harassment.
Oh, so good from puCK.
Yeah, and I want to also note some of the things, the subtle things. It's very easy to just be like, oh, you know, you pick up the weakened Stalker. It's not a lot. It's not that hard, right? They should be really good at this by now. But it's the idea that you're picking it up after your opponent's Stalkers fire at you.
Yes,
the Stalker,
dodging the shots.
You dodge the shot, and your opponent has wasted an entire attack cycle doing absolutely 0 damage.
That Pylon's going to unpower at least 1 gateway.
Yep. Okay, actually, oh no, not halting the Warpin. Oh, that's a Warpin from puCK.
And we do see the GG from HuK, just too much damage. Held on heroically for about 2 or 3 more minutes, but it just wasn't going to be enough. puCK was able to just outmass him at that point.
You know, I would actually say that it was a really clever build from puCK. And again, saying again that he likes to play his own style, Robotic Facility is the thing that puCK always loved. In fact, it was always a joke that I loved telling where if you see a proxy pylon from any Protoss player in any matchup, you normally think, oh, proxy Stargate in the early game. With puCK, with puCK, you just sometimes think it might be a proxy robo because he loves his robo play so much, and that was him doing the same kind of aggression that HuK wanted to do, but with his own style.
That was actually such a genius build because that build only works on that map
in those
positions. Yes. You think, oh, why can't he do it on Arena? Well, the reason he can't do it on Arena, he had his warp gates finishing up as the warp prism was popping out. So if he hadn't warped in the stalkers to the low ground with that warp prism, he's missing out on a lot of production time. But because of the actual shape of the map, he's able to move the warp prism up to just past his own base, warp on the low ground, and then those units are actually moving forward. The warp prism catches up, and they all go up together. It was just so precisely figured out from puCK, and that's the kind of precision that I was talking about earlier. I really love to see a build like that, and it was very clearly effective. Against Blink, he out-blink micro without blink.
I mean, we know that it's top 3 control from HuK, but I mean, I think I know who top 2 control is right now.
I think I do.
That was very well done. It was a very even, but I would still say because of the fact that HuK had to go for Blink, and he was also getting the Robo because he wanted to get a Warp Prism as well. Yeah. But the fact that HuK was going for both of those, and puCK found a way to cut corners in his build. I would actually say, it's not, people have a negative connotation about running build order wins, but I would say this was just a really clever way to adjust his build order that he managed to eke out a little advantage, saying, I don't have to go for the Trial Council, I don't have to research Blink, I don't have to wait for my aggression.
Exactly.
I have it much sooner than you. And through that, he was able to have that Stalker lead, and I would actually say HuK microed very well as well. I wouldn't say that he got completely out microed or anything in that, but puCK was able to get that advantage in the unit count initially, and that of course carried on through.
Yes, that was just a really brilliant build from puCK, and HuK just couldn't handle it. It was it was, and he did as you said, he was executing the micro defensively very well, and he was able to actually hold on for quite a while, but it was 4 gates to 3. He had committed a lot more resources into that robotics facility for his own